Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Krista and Ed Show. We want to welcome our guests. We're super excited today. We have Olin Sway Consulting. They're married entrepreneurs. They have their own separate businesses, and they've come together and are helping other married couples that are entrepreneurs find success in both business and relationships. And they have podcasts and are founders of Marriedpreneur. Did I say that correctly? You know, they're here, and we're really excited to have them come and talk to us and maybe share some insights on, juggling, both marriage and business. Mm-hmm. All right. So thank you for coming, or thank you for being in our podcast. So.
Thank you so much for having us. It's exciting to be here and to be with other married entrepreneurs. So we're always down for that.
Yep.
Awesome. So welcome. So why don't you guys just maybe, briefly give us a bit more information on what it is that you do and how you're helping other married entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs in general.
Yeah, so, well, we are Marriedpreneur Life, or should I say that is the movement. But it's really about finding a way, helping other married entrepreneurs build and scale their business without sacrificing the marriage. And so there are various strategies and things that we've learned that have been battle tested to really help in that effort. I can think back even when I first left my 9-to-5 and came home, and we were working out of our home office, and friends would come by and say, wait a minute, so your desks are in the same office and it's facing each other? And they would say, well, don't you two get sick of each other? And we really hadn't thought of it like, no, we actually don't. But we realized that there were those who wanted to figure out, how do we actually work together, bring our skills together without being at odds with each other. Right. So that's really how Marriedpreneur Life came to be, and what it is that we do.
Yeah. And I would also say that, like, my background actually is dance, professional dancer. And then from there, I in college, I started something called a creative art staffing firm. And then from there, that kind of spun into a consultancy for working with creatives and helping them build their businesses and building multiple revenue streams and all these different things. So I had my clients, and then he had his clients, with his background being more so in financial services and banking. But we had a particular crossroad that we came to, which was when some of my clients and then some of his clients came to us together and said, you know what, we're not going to sign up for anything else until you all have something for us, like for me to work with my spouse. I want the both of you to work with the both of us versus just one of you working with me and then one of you working with this person. They wanted both of us together. So we're like, you know what, let's see, this is what the market is asking for. So let's see what they want. And so that's really like the whole catalyst behind us moving forward in this.
Yeah, it's funny because I'd be coaching one of my clients, and they would have certain questions about certain things, and I would think to myself, you really need to work with my wife on that. Right. And then same.
I would have clients that would have like a lot of different money questions, and and that's really where his headed and the focus is, and really strong suit. So I'm like, man, you really need to be going through my husband's program for that part, So it made sense, even though we were very like not for it at first. We were like, no, we're two different LLCs. We have two different companies.
Keep
like we're
clean.
cannot do this mingling of accounts and all of like, no, we're two different things. And so
we have two different styles.
We do definitely have two different styles of coaching and just communicating. So after a while, we were like, you know what, we just really need to listen to what people are asking for and go for it. So that's what we've been doing.
Yeah. And that is so awesome, because everything you're talking about, I feel like I can totally relate to. When you talk about, the office in the basement, I mean, we're at the beginning stage of this. You can see me laughing because it's like, wow. And, but I guess forget about, that conflict type stuff, because that can all be worked through. We also realized at one point too, that bringing both of our strengths together is really cool, because we do have two separate, superpowers or whatever it is, that it's almost like and I can kind of get that from you guys too. It's like the two of you together is like the perfect storm, right?
Right, right.
It's funny how other people see that in you individually or as a couple, and you don't, right?
Yeah. What do they see? Why do they want both of us? Like, what is this? I don't understand.
Because they're not like, you know, in your house seeing the other side. No, anyway, I'm kidding. But yeah, it's been an interesting journey for us too, because I've been working from home for 4 years now, and he has been in the office, right? Like they have the building, the boardroom, and all that kind of stuff. So even when we started this, he was having a hard time with the fact that we didn't have an office in the house. And I was like, well, what do you need one for? You just need your laptop, right?
Right.
Like, I don't get it, right? Like, we have the little ones and she's on the laptop and she's got kids crawling all over her. And I'm just like, right way, but I don't know how to do that. I can't do that. I need to go somewhere. So it's funny. I've set up our office downstairs. We've got everything here, and I'll come out of a room and I see the lights on down there, and I'm like, yes, she's in the office, because she was like, no, I'm on the laptop. That's it.
But yeah, so I think it's awesome what you guys are doing, because it's really important to bring those things to light, but also to realize that, you know, it's not all picture perfect either, right?
No,
there are simple things that probably tools, or I'm not exactly sure what you guys do, and maybe you can share that with me, that, you know, you can give couples to work on, you know, to stay on the same page. Like,
we're actually, we've actually just launched another more official way. What we did last year was more of a pilot program, and right now we're in the process of just launching something called the Marriedpreneur Method. And so what that Marriedpreneur Method is really focusing on where each marriage is, like where each couple is concerning their business goals as well as their relationship goals within their marriage, and really diving into what those superpowers are and then what that looks like for them, right? Because every marriage is so different, and if we're trying to like copycat off of somebody else's marriage or relationship, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know anything that they don't show or don't tell us. So we can easily, you know, try to aspire to do what they're showing, but not really seeing the behind the scenes work or behind the scenes issues. And I think it's just really a setup for some type of great disappointment. So we really like to start off with what the vision is for their marriage. And oftentimes we realize that that isn't really spoken about. It's just like, okay, we'll talk about and we'll invest in our business. We'll invest in what's the vision for our business, where we going, how much do we want to bring in, how many clients we know all these different analytics, but we know no analytics about our marriage and where we want to go with it and what we desire for it to look like. And having those two worlds collide together is really what the Marriedpreneur Method is all about.
Wow, that's actually very powerful. I just had a huge light bulb moment. No, like, it's true. I'm like, because you're right. And especially sometimes the longer that you're together, unfortunately what happens is that relationship side sometimes gets kind of put aside. But that's the foundation, and, you know, what needs to be nurtured and on point, right? Yeah.
And sometimes when you're doing something from a business perspective, like I look at it from a business perspective in a lot of cases, and she might look at it maybe from more the relationship perspective, if you know what I mean? So we're not communicating in the same, like, I'm like, okay, let's just put all that aside and let's work on this. But, you know, you can't necessarily do that. And that's a hard part for me anyways. I feel like I can go, okay, let's just get on this and focus on this and work on this. But you know, maybe thinking of it and going, okay, I got to take the relationship side. And
I think what she was saying is you just need to probably listen to your wife more. I'm pretty sure that's what I got out of it, and then everything's going to be okay.
Right, everything, it will be okay.
What do you think? Well,
I think that it's possible to have two totally different ideas of what success looks like. Yes. I think sometimes as marriedpreneurs, if you don't talk about it, and I think what happens is the longer we're together, there's this natural tendency to make assumptions that you two have the same benchmarks or definitions of what success will look like. So, you know, it could be a number, it could be a lifestyle. So if one person is pushing for, you know, a certain number, and the other person is saying, I'm really hoping for this certain lifestyle, then you could not have the number, but have the lifestyle. And when I say lifestyle, I'm talking about the ability to work together, work from home, have control over schedule. I know before I left the banking industry, one of the biggest desires for my wife was that, you know, that I would come home, you know, start my own business, and then we could have time together. So that's how she defined success. I may have defined success as, you know, being able to stash up the next 24 months of mortgage payments. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. So if I'm pushing for a number and she's pushing for a lifestyle ideal, then we could get our wires crossed, be at odds, and not even realize it because we never talked about, well, what's a win for you, or what is this like a win for me? So,
you know, we're going to have to talk about that later today, because as you were saying that, I realized that I think that's maybe some of the miscommunication that we are having. Because, you know, at the end of the day, we know, like, we want control. Everybody wants control of their life, and you want to be able to do what you want to do and have what you want to have, and, you know, create this life for your kids and your family, or whatever that looks like. But you're right, chasing different things. One thing I have a hard time with, and I always have, is realizing that not everybody thinks like me. And I think sometimes I expect that he just knows what I'm thinking, and he should be, you know, working towards exactly what you just said. Oh my God, I'm going to have to apologize. Oh,
let's do it on camera.
Oh, nope. I'm just kidding.
There needs to be documentation.
It's a timestamp, right?
Anyways, no,
and I didn't even say anything.
No, it's good. It's good. And communication is the biggest part. Don't you find, like, the more you work with people, is that what you're finding? That it really comes down to communication, right?
Yeah.
They're kind of
Yeah. And, you know, something about communication I realize is that we all communicate, even if we're not saying anything. That's a type of communication. But it's about the kind of communication that really fosters and promotes a healthy relationship. And sometimes just coming, I mean, you know how it is with marriage, just coming from different backgrounds. So she may have come from one family culture, and I may come from another family culture. So if I come from a family culture where we talk to each other from different rooms, which means we have to yell, and she comes from a family culture where people look you square in the eye and they say, you know, what's on their heart. That could create, you know, those type of things poured over to the business is my point.
To the marriage and to the business, both. Yeah, all of that together.
Well, we've been together 10 years.
I come from a house where
we've been together 10 years, and I can tell you that I feel like just the last couple of months, we are starting to get to know each other on a different level that we haven't really at the beginning. So it's scary, but it's really cool, because it's nice, because and it's understanding exactly what you just talked about too, because we do come from very different families as well. And we also, like you talked about a bit earlier, we're very different people, right? Like, I'm very kind of impulsive, on the fly type of, you know, personality. I'm very creative, you know, thinker, but also visually, right? He's like, I'm saying he's getting better. Like, I'm trying to change you. I shouldn't do that. But he's more, you know, like, of a planner, wants to, you know, kind of know what we're going to do. Where for me, I'm like, no, I just know. Like, we're just going to have this idea and do it, you know?
Yeah. It's like, she'll say, trust my gut, right? You know.
Like it's your own.
Yeah. But, so it's interesting. You're saying.
We totally connect.
Sorry? You cut out there. So, I mean,
I was just saying we totally do that.
Yeah. 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 It's just, I guess it starts really with the relationship side and then cascades to business. So yeah. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So are there some things that you've seen, like the reoccurring themes in relationships that you maybe want to share? Because obviously you would, you know, where you have a couple and they're entrepreneurs and they're trying to carve their path together.
Yeah, I would definitely say that what we just spoke about, just the two different backgrounds, the two different mindsets, the two different preferences, the two different just wirings, bringing them into a relationship, and then that relationship then births a business. Like that's like birthing like twins, you know, because you have the marriage and then you have the business, and then you're both doing that together.
Yeah.
One of the resources that's been really helpful to us, we don't have any affiliate marketing or anything with them, but that it's been very helpful for us, is taking the Kolbe Index C, Kolbe Index C, and it really just, that's been like the only type of modality that's out that we've experienced that actually goes over like our instincts and our just our personal wirings, not our personalities, not even so much our strengths per se, but just like how we troubleshoot, how we solve a problem,
how we approach.
Yeah. And then it also talks about like the best way for us to use our energy, like based on, like, I'm very creative, I'm very much a follow through person too though, so I like to have lists and systems. But then he's creative as well. Like, his background is in music before the whole banking thing, DJing and, you know, touring and all this stuff. So, but he's more so, I would say, just the opposite of me. I don't want to like say like it's nothing negative. It's just the opposite, and very like, even like when he's working or something, he's the one that he'll have like music playing, and I used to think, well, you can't really like honestly be working if you have music playing, because I just thought of school, like, you're not focused, you're not getting anything done. How can you're not taking this seriously? You know, I'm the one that's really being serious, and I have this list and I'm doing, you know, this and this, and then just realizing that we flow totally different ways. But then I have to appreciate that he's more of like the visionary. He'll pick up, you know, he has these big ideas and he'll just start it, and then that may be it though, you know, and then I'm the one to say, well, what are we going to do to finish it? You know, how are we going to see it to the finish line? So and just realizing like that's how we're naturally wired, it helped me out a great deal not to get frustrated when I thought that he was like not as serious as I was about the business, or serious about whatever it was, because he did it in a different way and it looked different for him because he had music playing in the background. I was like, okay, that's what you need in order for you to create. Then let me go over here, let me put my headphones in so I don't have to hear it, because I want to make sure that I know that's going to distract me if I'm really focused on something that's going to require all of my brain power. So, you know, we just have been learning, for me, more so just to appreciate those differences and really tap into like what those superpowers are for each of us and focus there. Like, don't focus on the other stuff, not trying to change them, because that has been my default, you know, since we met. Just like, well, no, like you were saying, well, you're getting better at this or better at that because it's closer to the way that I do it, you know, but that's not necessarily the better way. It's just a different way, you know, just kind of working through that piece. And that impacts every part of the relationship, every part of the business, because you just can't get away from it. But I think once we switch and understand the superpower that has for each of us, then that then impacts everything and every part of the relationship and every part of the business as well. So it's really just that shift that we're constantly trying to improve and to work on and to remind ourselves, so we have a new default versus the former default.
Mm-hmm. And you know, like if they actually did change to become like us, then it wouldn't be
like that
perfect combo, right? No. Like, you don't really want that either.
Right, exactly.
Or us like them, I mean, or anybody trying to change.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're right. Yeah. So I'm curious for you guys, like, do you have like a daily time where, you know, you do your communicating? Or for you guys, like, do you go for a walk, or is it at night? Like, how do you make sure that you're staying on the same page with all of this stuff?
Yeah, it's a great question. We have a system for that.
We do have a system for that.
No, because we need one.
I have the systematizer.
So, yeah, one of the things that we do is we try to make sure that we plan the day of the next day the evening before. We hone in on those critical things. And in the morning times, what we'll do is we'll convene and say, okay, you know, what are your top 3 wins for today? And then she'll ask me, what are my top 3 wins for today? And what are we working on that would require us being in the same room with both of us focused on the same thing? Sometimes we'll be working on the business in different aspects, and I'll be in one room and she'll be in a different place, and then we'll sort of check up with one another. But we start off each day by blocking out time, not just in our Google Calendar, and I'll let her speak to that in just a moment because that's really something she's passionate about. But one of the things that has helped, that was just, I didn't enjoy, but I learned to appreciate in her and have embraced it, and that is, she got me my first business planner. So, so I used the business planner, and would you believe I'm on my 2nd business planner? So,
no way. That one,
figure.
He did that one all on his own. I didn't, no prompting from me at all.
The second one, the first one she got. The second one I was like, I really need.
And he's like, I need a planner now. Where's my planner?
She would ask me when she first got the first one, so how do you like it? I said, it's like having a little piece of you.
An extension of me.
Every part of the day. Somebody always asking me, where are you now? How are you progressing now? Are you finished now?
Yeah. I really like how you said, like, you're blocking time and saying, this is the defined,
we have to.
What we're doing every, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm kind of used to that. Yeah.
And I probably do need one of those. And I fight lists like nobody's business.
We have a list issue in our home.
And I know, like, I need to, like, just give into it now because there is so much. And it actually does help you, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you are creative and your mind doesn't shut off. There's just too many ideas and things up there. It's counterproductive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing, it does help a lot. I don't think I've always been a list person. I think, like, when we started building the different businesses, and I'm like, I need to just get all of these ideas that are just floating around out there in my head. I just need to get them on paper so then I could cross them, like, take them off of my head, to take them off my mental list. Because I believe we have a list somewhere. It's either going to be in our heads or it's going to be on paper. So sometimes when it's in our head, it's just going to be kind of all over the place. And it was just so draining to me to try to figure out, like, wait, what am I doing next? What am I doing next? And then making sure, I think it really was more, it really hit home for us when he came home into work and his own business. And I think it was me actually helping you with, like, how to spend your time, because he was so accustomed to, being at the bank. They have their own systems there. It's like them telling you what you need to do and your client meetings and all this. And then he came home and was like, so what do I do? What's up?
I used to get, it was so new for me. I used to get dressed up to go into the office. I would literally, like,
full suited out, shoes and everything, like hardwood floors. I would hear him walking around on the floor. I'm like, are you about to leave? Like, how? Like, where are you going? He's like, I'm just going to the office. Like, oh, well, you can just have your tennis shoes. Like, you don't have to put any shoes on if you don't want to.
I gotta get in the zone, man.
He does the same thing.
Yeah. You know what? Years ago, I worked for my uncle for briefly. He's in the jewelry trade, and that was one thing when I left a job and started doing contract work for him and having a small business and kind of sub-working for him. He said, make sure when you get up in the morning, put on a tie, put on your dress clothes, and then you go into your home office and you shut the door and it's showtime. That was kind of his take on it, So it was one of those things that I have adopted. So I don't know if I'll be wearing a full-on tie every day, but
I mean, I could see, like, that the benefit of it. When you are, like, showered and done up and everything and dressed, you do kind of get in a different space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you could give us one tip for our listeners and viewers, what do you think? Was there any other tips or one really good juicy tip that you'd want to maybe share?
You keep asking the same question.
Which one do we?
Okay,
I would definitely say, I think the bedrock of, like, any type of substantial and sustainable growth in a marriage and in a relationship is to really be on the same page about where you all are going, where you desire to go. Because, you know, like we said earlier, we come to the table with two different definitions of success and all this and how we expect to get it done. But I think if you just look at coming together and creating your own vision for your marriage, and then using like that the vision for the marriage also spills over into the vision for the business, because then that's like the macro vision, right? But then it's like, well, how do we get it done? And that's where those daily meetings, when we do our 10, 15 meetings each day, we do it over breakfast. So it's just a part of our routine. Okay, what are you doing today? What are your 3 wins? What are your 3 wins? We know we have good and well, we know we have more than 3 things that we need to get done. But, you know, just to be fair and just to really make sure there's enough margin in our day, and even still, we don't leave enough margin in our day because we're still trying to do like 20,000 things. But if we know we have these 3 main things are like, something has to be the priority out of all the other priorities, right? Something has to be at the top, because we can't get everything done at the same time. So once we are clear that, you know, those 3 wins for the day are actually taken directly from the vision for where we're going. So based on, you know, my strengths, based on his strengths, he's going to do what he needs to do. I'm going to do what I need to do, but it's all leading to the same path, to what we say we want the final outcome to be. And so it helps us to stay on the same page. I think that right there is just a big piece that oftentimes is overlooked when married couples are working together. They just, okay, let's just go for it. But then it's like, what are we going for? Where are we going? How do we go about getting it done? Could be another issue and possible argument, right? But it's not even about the method of doing it. It's just about like, let's just get it done. If that's what you need to do, if you need music, then go ahead and play your music. You know, if I need this over here, I'm going to go ahead and do this over here. But all we know is when we come back together for lunch and then closing out the day, we review that and all that is really like, okay, so I didn't get this done because, I don't know, I got distracted or it took longer, or I needed this resource. And then so I'm going to, you know, push that over till tomorrow. And then as we get ready for the next day, we're pretty much clear on how we desire for it to go. It doesn't always go that way, but at least we have something to follow.
Yeah.
I would just add to that, get really good at listening. Don't assume you understood what they said. And that's true for your spouse as well as your clients.
I have trouble listening. Yeah.
And that's the first thing.
Yeah, I know. I struggle with that. So, hey,
Yeah. No, wow. Yeah. You've given us lots to talk about later.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's good because these are the types of things that we do need to, you know, make sure that we are addressing so that we can, you know, make sure that, you know, we're
going forward.
That we're going forward and we're able to help other people, right? At the level that we want to, because we're, you know, communicating well and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I think that, like you said before, if you both have completely different skill sets and bring a lot to the table, then you're getting a way more powerful deliverable for your clients and being able to do that. And so I really see that. What she's good at and versus what I'm good at are 2 different things. And if we can get it together, and it's good.
Yeah, I think we're doing all right.
We are doing good.
Yeah.
Fist bump. Oh, awesome. We always ask our guests about their superpowers. So we would love for you to share what your superpowers are with us.
Sure.
I will let her confirm this.
Okay.
I don't know what he's about to say.
Listening.
Okay.
Reading between the lines.
Yeah, I confirm. That's good.
That's your superpower?
That's a really good one.
That's a really good superpower.
Yeah, he's a great listener. So that's helpful. It kind of humbles me on the daily because I'm like, I need to listen better. So yeah, that's good.
Awesome.
I would say for me, I am definitely a doer, an implementer. I like to, let's just do it. And without procrastinating or anything. I figure it out and get it done, I would say.
I would definitely agree.
Definitely.
That's a good one too.
That is a good one. Yeah. So do you have a question for us that maybe we can answer? A curveball?
What would you say?
A curveball?
Oh, curveball. Well, before that, I think I'd like to know what you all superpowers are.
Actually, let's do it this way.
Okay.
Think about the other person.
Oh, there you go. That's a good way.
Whoa, there's the
superpower.
Yeah, that's the curveball right there. There you go.
Okay. Okay, you'll have to confirm. I think Krista's superpower is probably like big picture and creating the strategy. I would say that would be one of her superpowers. She has a couple, more than a couple actually. So, but I would say that being able to kind of look at things in a big picture and then create the strategy. And in fact, if I drill down, making it not complicated. She's really good at kind of breaking things down. So am I right?
Yeah, that sounds all right to me.
Okay, cool.
No, I would agree with that.
Yes, strategy.
One of the things that I think that I have a really big strength on is that I just don't see anything being impossible. So that goes to like the big picture, right? Where it's like somebody says no, or you can't, or we can't because it's like no, like it's possible. Not saying it's easy, right? So
she's proven me wrong on that many times.
Unfortunately. So I would say that Ed's superpower is definitely rapport building and building relationships. He is the kind of guy who can talk to anyone, walk in a room, and it's like people are just drawn to him, and he always has something to say. I usually have to see you, or I don't know, for about 3 years before I go deep in a conversation. No, I'm kidding. but he is like, he just has that ability to really build relationships and nurture them. Yeah.
I would say that's true. Yeah.
That's great.
That's definitely
Awesome. Okay, so was that your question? Because that was a good one. Or do you have another one?
It wasn't gonna be at first. And when he did that curveball, I was like, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. I like that one. Okay, cool. So how can our viewers or listeners get in touch with you guys?
Sure, they can connect married entrepreneurs. We have a free course that we've created just to help other married entrepreneurs get and stay on the same page while they're building a business. And that's done in 5 simple steps that we put a system together for that. And so
5 phases.
5 phases, yes. So the number 5, 5pillarprocess.com, 5pillarprocess.com.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Awesome.
Well, thank you. We really appreciate your time and taking, showing us giving us some really good tips. And so thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
All right. I'm sure our viewers will take some golden nuggets from today's episode. I know that I sure did. And I think what you guys are doing is amazing. It's awesome. And like I said, it's already helped me, think of some things that we need to, and we'll definitely be in touch because I think we're going to need you along this ride.
Thank you for creating this platform. I think it's awesome for others to see that it's doable and possible for married folks to actually work together. And like it's a journey, that's for sure. But I think it makes it easier when you can see that others are doing it too. So thank you.
For sure. All right. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you guys.
All right, you guys have a good one.